evening. So it's been very exciting if you live in the UK and you stack gold and silver and precious metals, but obviously mainly for gold, because the gold reached an all-time high in the UK of £1,649.79 on Monday morning, which is wonderful. Yes, wonderful for those of us who managed to get in probably, 3 or 4 years ago and stack some gold. Obviously not wondrous if you're just starting to enter the market, but we'll come on to that in a minute. So I just thought it would be a good moment to make a video and talk about this, because I can't see many videos where anybody's actually really making much of it. Do you know what? It's not even in our national, the BBC, which is the national news outlet for the UK, British Broadcasting Corporation. Pretty much it's got a monopoly on the media, very powerful. Hardly even mentioned. I don't even know if it is been mentioned at all. And we'll come on to that. So the main question is, at the moment for me, is that gold's at this elevated, all-time high in the UK, and obviously in dollars, I think it hit $2,008 yesterday or the day before, which is great. And obviously we have to, you may not know that gold's priced in dollars, so obviously the strength of the pound relative to the dollar affects how much you're going to pay for it in the UK. So at the moment we've got this issue where obviously your gold, from some of us that have been stacking early on, your gold's gone up in value. And that's great. So my 2017 Britannias have more than doubled. You go on a bullion site today, you're looking at 450, 467. I paid 240 for these. 240. If I'd put that money in the bank, would I have more than doubled it? Now, answer me that. Correct. I would not have done. I could have put it into other things. I'm not saying it's the greatest return. So it has preserved, it has done its wonder for me. It has retained its value. Gold is a store of value, I'm happy. But I've got an ego, I can't help it. I'm just a human being. I'm thinking, this is nice. Why don't I sell some and take some profits essentially from this and reinvest it? Or as a family holiday paid for, things like that. Is there any shame in doing that? Am I a bad stacker for wanting to feel like that? There must be some of you out there who feel the same. I think about some of the things I don't really like that much, some sets that have been knocking around. I'm very close to thinking, let's shift it now. Let's shift a couple of ounces, take some profits, put some cash in the bank, because we love cash, don't we? It's ironic, isn't it? You spend all this time stacking, and I'm talking about selling it to put cash in the bank when inflation's 10%, which is going to be eroded. I don't know. It's a tough call. And then on top of all of that, you're thinking, well, what about in a month's time if it's £2,000 an ounce and it's $2,300? I mean, the analysts and people I listen to, local coin dealers, I know people that are investment bankers. I know all sorts of people in different walks of life. I look at Bloomberg, they're calling for $3,000, $5,000 an ounce. And obviously it's not going to still be £1,600 an ounce then. So the problem you've got is a constant, dilemma of, do you keep it or sell it? I'm thinking about liquidating maybe 10-15% of some gold that I don't like that much, and then just see what happens. And then I won't feel too bad, because it's going to make a decent profit off those items, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. These aren't very good proofs, by the way. It's 1987, the first issue of the Britannia, but whoever owned them before, looks like they got them out every single day or multiple times and fondled them with hands covered in lard, the way they've been treated. But yeah, so that's my conundrum, and I just wonder if anybody else is feeling like that, really. Are you thinking about selling a bit of gold off, selling all your gold off? I mean, if you bought, in the previous video where I talked about what I perceive as the best size coin to stack, if you just had one 1 ounce coin now you bought 5 years ago, that'd be great. You'd be up. You'd be up. you've doubled your money. I think it was about £800 an ounce 5 years ago. That's very nice, but of course, you know, you might want to keep a bit of that. And it's just all relative to how much you need the money, what your life situation is. And what's hurting me the most at the moment is I hardly bought any gold this year. But I really want to buy more now. And I just cannot bring myself to spend a gold sovereign. I moaned last year in a video about paying £365 for a sovereign. You're looking at £444 today for a sovereign. I think it was over £450 at one point on some sites. I just cannot bring myself to pay that. Nearly £100 more in less than a year. The trouble is, it's the same old thing. What if next year that's the base? You know, around 400, 420, 450 is what you pay for a sovereign, and sovereigns are 550. You know, this is the problem, and how long will that go on for? You know, all these questions. Should I just look at it as a cost averaging exercise? You know, I buy this today for 450. I bought this for 250 5 years ago. You know, we take it on the chin or somewhere in the middle. Probably I should be thinking maybe a bit like that. I just don't know. I'm not going to go into silver really. Silver is kind of just, well, very, very disappointing. If I'm being honest, I don't know. I know silver will rip at some point. It's just not quite doing it at the moment. That said, certainly is not cheap. Do you know what I find unbelievable? Is that people are, it looks to me like that they are buying, they are prepared to spend 33, 40 pounds on an ounce of silver on bullion sites here in the UK. They could buy them on eBay for £30, £33. I think there's a real, if you don't know your metals and you don't know how to and where to buy, and you're not happy with the supplier or whoever it is, I kind of get that you just want to buy it from a well-known bullion site, but my goodness me, people are paying through the nose. And it's the same old thing. Say a lot of people are going to go out now and spend, you know, buy 1 ounce coins, £1,600, £1,700 an ounce, and then, you know, after in the news it's all okay, the confidence will come back into the market now because, you know, UBS are going to bail out Credit Suisse, and who cares about the Silicon Valley Bank? They're all crypto, and who cares about the other bank as well that's in the menus? Who cares? It'll all be fine. Forget about it. Gold price will come back down to like 1,500, 1,400. You know, you can be prepared, those people, to stick with their... They did get stung because they bought it at the top. Is this the top? Is this the top? Is it just the beginning? Is this what we all dreamed of if you're a stacker? But of course what comes with that is a lack of, you know, if the gold price gets elevated seriously, we haven't even got into the other geopolitical factors which are influencing things like the gold price, you know, the inflation again. Just to get an ounce of gold out of the ground, the cost of it, the oil, the wages, the transportation of it, we haven't even touched on that, let alone the lack of investor confidence in the markets, which is driving, obviously, liquidities coming out of certain other assets and flowing into gold, which is great because that's what gold is, it's a safe haven asset. And actually it looks like it's going to Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin's at $28,000, which is interesting. So kind of, if Bitcoin, you could argue, wasn't around, maybe there'd be even more liquidity and the gold price would be even higher. I am interested to see how that pans out with the Bitcoin. Have got a bit of Bitcoin hanging around, which is interesting. I am quite up on that. Very tempted again to liquidate that and buy some gold with it, you know. Maybe that's what I should do. Anyway, that's it. Just a short video, really. What are we going to do? Are we going to hold or sell? Wait and see what happens. You don't want to miss the boat. You know, there's always a bit of ego involved with these things. I feel, you know, you work hard, you spend a lot of time saving, storing your asset, picking your right purchases, making the right decisions, and then everything comes together. You get a really high gold price. Should you take some profit or not? That's the question I'm looking at. And, you know, I just don't know really. So if I don't know, there must be some other people that don't know, or some people that are more experienced who've seen this before. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they were stacking still. So anyway, that's it for now. Hope you have a nice evening, and I'll see you soon.